If you remember, hundreds of students had their F1 visa status revoked. The visa was revoked, and on top of that, their SEVIS record was terminated, which meant basically that they could not even stay in the country. They had to leave the US. And why? Simple DUIs or simple essentially felonies, minor things also, by the way. Even social media hate posts. Some people don't even know what was wrong. And ICE essentially came down gushing, swept all of these students out of the US. So they either had to stay, and I made a video about this a week or so ago, almost 2 weeks ago, I think now. So students either had to leave the US entirely or they had to file a case. And even when they were filing a case, by the way, they were out of status. So it was a bit of a gray area whether they should be staying in the US while they file a case or not. But it becomes very difficult if you're doing it outside. So things were just unclear as to why these students are basically facing these issues. And it just wasn't making sense. And that's why, a lot of students went home, went back to India, went back to, many other countries, wherever they came from. Now, what's happening is that ICE is taking a step back.
ICE has reversed its decision to revoke those visas. Judges across the country had already issued temporary restraining orders, restoring some students' records. But government lawyers said in court today, ICE was manually restoring student status for people whose records they terminated.
They are essentially saying now that, look, we were wrong, and in between, a lot of things happened. The judge came in, from many of these cases that were filed, they temporarily gave status to these students, which is a good thing because they did not have any status. We didn't know what was going on. It's the first time they've seen anything like that happen. Now, however, ICE has finally backed down and they've said, look, these reports, whatever we did, essentially, these students now have their status back all of a sudden. We don't know what's going on still, but the status is back. That means that the SEVIS record has been reinstated. So this right here is the exact email that many of these students received actually. Over here, they're saying, the DSO essentially, who also, by the way, did not have any idea. They have sent the email to the student and, 3 of these students are now working with us. So we had very similar emails. This is probably the best one we've gotten till now, where they're saying, okay, here's the student information. Now you do have, again, continued attendance in the I-20 reason. So that means that, you could essentially get a new I-20 at this point because the previous one has been canceled. Remember that. And now all these students need to go ahead and, they don't need essentially a new service record because that one is reinstated. So they can still have their OPT. They can still essentially come back and start doing whatever they want to do in the US. So their status looks to be that it is clear now at this point. They are continuing the attendance. Everything seems to be working well. But with that said, they need to apply for a new visa. And we don't know what kind of questions the visa officers will be asking this time. And it says over here, status is active. You can check. Status change date is April 24th, 2025. This is happening for a lot of students with similar dates. They've gotten the notices. And they say if you're planning to return to the US, you should check with the US consulate about revocation of your visa. If your visa has been revoked, which by the way has been the case for most of these students, you will need to apply for a new visa. And, other OPT travel procedures should be followed. And, your OPT will expire on such and such date. So basically, they can now get back in. That's a good step. That's a step in the right direction. But we still don't know essentially what kind of interviews will happen, what kind of questions will be asked. And we're going to try to keep you updated on all of that. So let's see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted. I do have a community ongoing. So if you sign up on YMGrad.com, you'll see a lot of these students. There's discussion forums where we are discussing about all of this. And, a lot of students are actually talking about this as we speak. So we'll keep you updated on the kind of questions being asked. And, this is good. This is good for us. So I just wanted to bring you this good news and I'll keep you guys posted. Subscribe to the channel for more such updates and thank you so much for watching.